So now it is time for round 3 in learning the blues scale. Hey everybody! In our last lesson we went over the major blues scale and how to play it. In the lesson before that, we also went over the minor blues scale and how to play that one. If you have not checked either of those videos out yet, go ahead and do so because everything is going to make more sense in this. If you also haven't watched the videos called Start Soloing Now, go ahead and check those out because everything together with those videos and these videos is just going to make all of this make a lot more sense, and it's going to come together more easily. The pentatonic scale and the blues scale are actually parallel scales, except the blues scale has an addition of one note. So really learning them both, you can interchange them. So go ahead and check those out if you have not already. So moving forward in these next couple lessons, we're going to actually come to a little bit of a challenge because the blues scale doesn't have modes, technically. It only has the minor blues scale and the major blues scale. So it really only is recognized as having a relative major and a relative minor scale. Therefore, it doesn't technically have modes, and therefore those modes do not have names. So I'm going to actually name these because some people might just think of them as modes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And that's fine, but that doesn't really give you a great reference as to how it relates in music theory terms. So my attempt is to hopefully make this make a little more sense using the pentatonic scale and using a little bit of just general music theory. So I'm going to call this one Dorian Blues because I have not found any research anywhere where anybody has named the scales, but I like having something to where I can have a better reference to what it is, so that way it helps me on how to play it. So this one I'm going to call Dorian Blues, and it's basically just like the Dorian Pentatonic, except we're going to add a minor second in there. And a minor second, if you don't know what that is basically just a half step up from the root note. So in guitar case, it would be 1 fret up from the root note. So if we were going to start this on the 5th fret, say we're going to play a Dorian Pentatonic. So now I'm going to add a minor second in there, which would be the 6th fret of my E string. So really it's the same thing as the Dorian Pentatonic, except you're just adding this note here, that note there, and this note here. So the 6th fret of the low E string, the 8th fret of the D string, and the 6th fret of the high E string. So how to play the Dorian Blues is we're going to play this on the 5th fret. So this will be a Dorian Blues. That's what I'm going to call it. So you're going to play on the low E string. You're going to play 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to play the 5th and 7th frets on the A string. And then you're going to play the 5th, 7th, and 8th frets on the D string. And then the 4th and 7th frets on the G string, the 5th and the 8th frets on the B string, and then 5, 6, and 7 on the high E. So let's go ahead and try to play that. And since the major blues scale was the last scale that we went over, let's play that one on the 3rd fret, and then play the Dorian Blues on the 5th fret. So now I'm going to show you an example of how you can use that mode shape to solo over something in A major. Okay, so this is actually going to be a little bit of a 2-for-1 lesson because we're going to include another mode shape in here, and it's going to be a little bit tricky because it actually starts on the blue note, but don't worry because it's literally the exact same thing that we just went over, except instead of starting on this note, we're just going to start on this note. So instead of, we're going to start so got it? So Dorian Blues, and then this shape. So technically speaking, this really isn't like a mode shape, but it's a place to reference if you were to want to start on the blue note itself. And I know if Rick Beato ever happened to just stumble across this video randomly on the internet one day, he'd probably have a brain aneurysm, but I'm going to name this one Super Dorian Blues because it's basically the same thing as the Dorian Blues, except you are just starting it on the second note. So you're starting it on the supertonic of that mode shape. So that would be the tonic of your Dorian, and that would be your supertonic of the Dorian. So it's, you're just starting it on that minor second of the Dorian. So again, it's just a helpful place to know where you are, not necessarily that you're going to play things in this shape. But if you're going to learn and try to play the blues scale, you know, at least for muscle memory's sake, it's really helpful to learn the different fret positions. So that's why the only reason I'm giving them names as far as if they had modes, just for reference. It's something that I use so that way I can think, okay, this is kind of what this is like for me, so I'm just going to reference it as that because it helps me associate it with something that I'm familiar with. So being that the Dorian Blues, you know, is the same thing as the Dorian Pentatonic, just with a blue note added. The Super Dorian Blues is the exact same thing, but we're just omitting the first note as a starting point. So I just came up with a little something just so that I could jam that example of it over the Super Dorian Blues, because since it's kind of a weird starting point, I figured that if I just kind of came up with a few little things that were based around that area, around that shape, then it would probably help. Because there are definitely blues songs out there that use that part of the blues scale as a starting point. So thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, and I really hope you did, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also keep your eyes open for more videos because I've got a lot more in the works. I've got a couple more covering the blues scale, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff from there. I have a theory lesson that I'm going to work on to try to make guitar theory and music theory a little bit easier to comprehend. And also, if there's anything that you would like to see on this channel, anything that you would like me to break down or discuss, if there are any sort of guitar licks or anything that you want me to kind of break down and show you, or if there's any songs that you want me to break down or things that you want me to kind of dissect and decode and stuff like that, Let me know all of that down in the comments section, and I can do stuff like that, because that helps me get ideas on what you want to see, and also that helps me to bring you something that you're actually going to want to use. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take it easy. Goodbye.